at Costco buying roses for all the secretaries and ladies who work in our office. So I had all these roses in my hands. And I was going to the checkout counter, and this guy looked at me and says, I don't know what you did, but it must have really been bad. Because, there's something that those flowers are there to communicate, isn't that right? And it's to communicate expression. It's to bring another level to what you're trying to say. The same thing is true with the jewelry. That's why all these things come flowing out, because it's trying to express. What does jewelry mean? What does it express? It expresses value, or that I thought about you, or that I shopped for you. I went and I looked because I wanted to communicate something to you. That's what expressions is all about. Expressions comes in those nonverbal things. That's what flowers and those areas of jewelry and the beautiful artistic areas of the threads or the glass and those things. But then there's those other kinds of expressions. Like Cheryl got up and gave an announcement the other day and at church. And so when she was done, I shook her hand. I said, thank you. And I shook her hand. And Renee Hip, thank you very much. Where are you, Renee? Renee's right over there. She text messages Cheryl and says, I just love that kind of expression from the platform, from a husband to his wife. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now, if I would have given her another kind of expression on the platform, what would you have all thought then? I mean, come on, you'd be saying, my gosh, in church, what is that? That's an expression that's a little over the top. I mean, save that for home. I mean, come on. Anyhow, you know what I'm talking about. There's all this level of expression. There's that little wink. How important is a wink? Those of you who are married or dating or whatever, you've got someone special in your life. Sometimes you can have that little thing that nobody else in the room knows exactly what you're talking about, but that little wink is that little bit of communication. It sends a signal. Or a little squeeze in that moment. It says something. You can be fighting some big battles, have Goliaths in front of you, but somebody just holds your hand and gives you a little squeeze. Doesn't even have to be a man. It could be one of your friends in a time of need. They just come alongside and they hold your hand and they put a squeeze there. And there's an expression and it sends a signal. Isn't that right? It says, I'm with you. I'm with you. You're not by yourself. You're not alone. You're not going to be overtaken by this. You're not going to be swept away. But I'm right here with you. There's even the power of a tear. Have you ever seen the impact of a tear in just that moment when you needed to know that somebody understood your pain? When you needed to know that you weren't all alone in the journey where you were at, that you weren't the only one that was feeling that weight upon your shoulders, and you saw maybe even one little tear just fall and roll down a cheek, and it spoke something to you that you will never forget. There was an expression. Sometimes just showing up is important. The other day, Bob Mortimer, his daughter was getting married, and Bob traveled with me quite sacrificially for 7 years across the country. For some of you who don't know Bob, he lost both of his legs and one of his arms in a drunk driving accident. And we traveled the country together. I put him on so many airplanes, and I know that little aisle chair, really well. And I've told this story before, but Bob would love to just embarrass me because he's very independent. And he loved salad bars. Anytime we could go to a place that had a salad bar, he wanted to go there. And he only wanted to go there to embarrass me, because he would always say, don't help me. Whatever you do, don't push me, don't touch me, don't help me. And so we would go up to a salad bar. You got to remember, he's in a wheelchair, and he lost his legs just above his knees. So he's got just stumps. So he'll wheel over to the salad bar, put a plate on his stump, and then with his one arm roll over, get a plate, and put stuff onto it, and then roll himself. And I'm standing there behind him talking to him. Hey, Bob, how's it going? Who won the game last night? We're just talking, just life. And then I realized, because I've done this so many times, then I realized, oh, yeah, everybody in this restaurant's looking at him. It's just, he loves little 5-year-old kids. He'll always talk about this. Little 5-year-old kids, they pull on their mom. He'll be in a mall or something. They'll pull on their mom's jacket and say, Mom, look, there's a guy with no legs and one arm. Well, look at that. And the mother's just dying. She's like, shh, quiet, no. Same kid does that with the father. And like Bob says, dads are just big kids, big boys. The little guy's going, look, Dad, there's a guy with no legs, and only one arm. And the dad's going, where is he, you know? And he wants to see the same thing. But anyhow, here I am with Bob. He's got a plate, you know, full of food, and he's rolling to the table. And I'm walking behind him with my plate, and everybody's thinking, what a jerk. Can you believe what a jerk that guy is? I mean, can you believe that? He's got a friend with no legs and one arm, and he won't even help him with the salad. I mean, what a jerk this guy is, you know? But anyhow, sometimes just that expression, you know, that expression that I'm with you, I care about you, I value you, you're not alone. We're in the study of the book of John. In John chapter 1, verse 1, it said that the Word was God. The Word was with God. And then the Word goes on. The Bible goes on in John chapter 1. It says that the Word became flesh, and He dwelt among us, and we beheld His glory. You know, tonight, in the few minutes I have to talk with you about expressions, I want to say something to you, and that is that the power of the Word of God is everything, all of the above combined together. Is that when God looks at you as a woman, you literally are the apple of His eye. He created you with a special purpose. He created man, first of all, and then He created woman with an even greater and higher purpose, and that was to bring fulfillment to His creation. There was a completion. There was an extra step that took for God to even create a woman. I've spoken all kinds